Hi, my name is Ng'endo Mukii. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I do documentary animation and I live in Nairobi, Kenya.
Ng'endo, you've got a new film out called This Migrant Business. What's it about?
This Migrant Business is looking at the sort of systems that exist that perpetuate this movement of refugees and migrants trying to get to Europe and trying to get to the Middle East for better ways of life. This is focusing on African migrants moving through these systems.
And what's the story at the centre of the film?
It's showing the way there's always someone who's benefiting from this movement. People are always complaining, why are these people coming here? Why is this happening? Why can people solve issues in their countries? But at the same time, there's someone who's making sure that this system continues because they make money out of it. So it's essentially their business.
And the film has been NGO funded.
Yeah.
Who was the funder?
The film has been, it's a commission project by the Danish Refugee Council and our MMS in Nairobi.
And it's not a sort of traditional NGO film, is it?
No, when they approached me, when the NGO approached me, they said that they were interested in my work, the previous work that I had done, and they wanted to make a film about the migrant issue, but they didn't want to make it in the usual way that many of the NGO films are made. So the first thing I did is that I changed the perspective that we're usually given in a film, which tries to make you feel intimate with the victim of the system. But at the same time, I think it's created this sense of viewer lack of sensitivity, because you get used to this, you know, my name is Jane, I was taken from here, I'm trying to get here.
Yeah, you can feel sympathy rather easily.
It's created a numbness in the viewer. So what I did was to take us into the perspective of the smuggler. So the entire time the viewer is forced to be playing the role of the smuggler. You watch him torturing the people and you're seeing it as if it's you who's doing it. You watch him beating up a woman and you see it as if it's you who's doing it. When he's counting the money he's making from from moving these migrants around, you're counting money in your hands. Your perspective is his. Yes.
And as with your last film, it mixes animation and live action.
Well, this was the thing. If you approach me because you like my work, you have to expect that the visual aesthetics of the work are going to be very different. And I really enjoyed that I was allowed to have this freedom while making this film, to be able to mix animation, live action, photography, rotoscoping. And it's very different from Yellow Fever in a sense, because last time when in Yellow Fever I had all of these different styles, but they sort of came one after the other. In This Migrant Business, these styles are fused. So within one shot, at any moment, there's at least 3 different sort of techniques happening at the same time.
And is that because you're moving towards that as a style, or is that?
I think it worked really well for this, because I wanted to create this strange alien sort of landscape that they're traveling through. I wanted to have one aesthetic for the smugglers and for the people involved in this system, and then I wanted to have a different aesthetic for the migrants. So as soon as you see them, just aesthetically, you can tell this is the migrant, these are technically the bad guys, and then they sit in this strange landscape. So and I also think it's a softer technique that I used for the migrants, because it's hand-drawn on top of video footage that I shot. So it was very intimate even for me to work with those frames.
And let's go to Yellow Fever.
Yes.
What kind of prizes did it win? What kind of reactions have you been getting?
Okay, so from Yellow Fever is one of these films that seems to have its own life force. I don't pay attention to it anymore in terms of pushing it. It just seems to continue to go on its own. And I think it's because of the content of the film being really required at the time when it was released.
And it touched a chord in a way.
Exactly. This is really and I thought it was an issue that I'm just dealing with within my family, and I'm thinking about some women in Nairobi. But it turns out that there's issues of colorism that are really being hotly debated in the US, in Europe, in different African countries. Even in Australia, they had these debates once in a while. So,
and you found it being tweeted by Beyonce's
yeah, yeah.
sister.
So my film really sits well for all these different people that will want to discuss this. And at some point, Solange Knowles picked up the film, and she watched it and she said, wow, this really blew my mind, and she tweeted it and she put it on her website. And after doing that, it really gained me a lot of views on Vimeo. It was a staff pick and it had over 100,000 views. I think it's 110 at the moment, in a short period of time. So I was really excited about that.
And you're now raising money for one of your own projects. How's that going?
So I'm working on 2 new projects at the moment. One is a fiction short called Birika, and one is a documentary animation called My Normal Kenyan Family. So this is a new process that I'm going through, because my 6-minute films, my shorter films, sometimes I just work on them on my own, or it's part of a school project, or it's a commission project. The longer ones, it's like a process looking for funding, going for pitching sessions. So I've really been learning a lot the last year.
What sort of money are you looking for?
There's different amounts. For Birika, it's about $20,000 would manage for the completion of the film. I've already received $10,000 from Focus Features Africa First program. And then My Normal Kenyan Family, we're still working out exactly how much it's going to cost. It depends on the final format in terms of how much archival footage I want to use, how much drawing I want to do, whether it's me drawing or I get other animators. It depends on the final length. So it's still in development.
So it's a work in progress.
It is, yeah.